Hello, and welcome back to the Holistic Frugivore podcast. All right, guys. I have been lacking motivation, so it took a lot for me to get on here today. I was supposed to record Monday, and I delayed it, and I was going to do it tomorrow and post it right away, and then I just got preoccupied with other stuff. Been having a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just lacking motivation. So I had to push myself to get going on this podcast. So I am here, and we are going to talk about the third eye. So if you've been listening, we are now working our way up our chakras and talking through them and having little meditations. So we're on to the sixth chakra, which is the third eye. And it's right in the middle of the forehead, around the brow. And it correlates to the color indigo. This is our sight. And our sight for all things. And once we start to understand that sight isn't just from our physical eyes necessarily, and being able to see clearly the world and everything around us, is just really being able to see through lies and propaganda and through the kind of facades that are on people and organizations and so many things about this matrix that we live in. I mean, we're really in kind of an energetic matrix. And once you understand that, you're able to begin to see more clearly. So this chakra correlates with our right to see. And much of the suppression of this chakra has to do with very induced ways of closing the third eye and suppressing the third eye by the higher powers that be, through things like water fluoridization, fluoride in our toothpaste, processed foods, anything that really just congests the system and lowers the vibration will keep the third eye closed and calcified. Fluoride has been very linked to calcification of the third eye center, pineal gland, pituitary. Both of them are really closely linked. And so much of our lifestyles are really our medications, all of the chemicals and exposures that were around cause this energetic suppression of this area. And as I've said before, if all of the chakras below this, I mean, if you're not grounded, if your sacral isn't open, if you aren't standing in your individual power of the solar plexus, if you're not heart opened and compassionate and empathetic for others, if you're not speaking your truth, all of those chakras have to be worked through first in order to really dive into the third eye. So if none of the chakras below you, or one or more of the chakras underneath these first five, if those are really thrown off balance and suppressed, then there's no way you're really going to work into this sixth chakra. It's just, it's all energetic. It's all vibrational. It's all light energy. And it's not pick or choose what chakras you want to aim at. While there is, power within this kind of work of doing meditations toward a chakra or doing healing within a certain chakra and, concentrating within that area. But if you want to just dive in and open your third eye to awaken, it's going to be harsh. And often when people kind of power through these openings, it can be so jarring. We often hear about things like the Kundalini awakening, where if it happens so fast, it blows your reality open and it can just drive you crazy because it's so hard for you to comprehend and take in everything that's actually real and everything that's going around you, and seeing all the traumas and the propaganda and all the lies and everything that you have grown to understand as true of reality gets challenged. So it can sometimes be very difficult to get into this chakra and be able to really see and consider everything, because this is our connection into the astral. This and the crown are really the way we connect into the astral. Really within the third eye is really what works when we're in sleeping, in meditation, doing lucid dreaming, astral projection. All of those ways of kind of leaving the physical body is centered within this third eye. So it's a very powerful energetic center. So it's very crucial for those who want to keep us suppressed and not see our true potential and our true power within the human body. This one is what they really concentrate on suppressing. All the others are worked to suppress as well, but this is the real game changer. Once you can break through the third eye and get into the crown, you're connected to higher consciousness. You're connected to the astral. You're connected to the higher self and all beings beyond this dimension. I mean, there's no outside your limits that you can't connect to. And it's a really powerful thing to understand how powerful our human body is. Just the superhuman abilities that we have potential to tap into that, God, most of the population can't even fathom. We're all psychic. Every single one of us. Most of us just haven't found it yet. Or most of us don't even realize what is psychic. We get caught into the ego mind and the logical mind and talk yourself out of your connection to your psychic abilities, thinking you're crazy or just blowing it off as coincidence or whatever it is, and ignore your psychic intuition, all of that. That's common with children as well. Parents kind of unknowingly brush off these psychic abilities and higher conscious connections that our children innately have, and slowly get indoctrinated and suppressed into society. So we really need to step back and be able to observe the world more clearly, letting go of certain expectations and attachments we have for ourselves and our children, really going inward, removing a lot of these distractions from outside of us, like TV and internet, jobs, everything that keeps you occupied and doesn't give you the time to go within, find the silence and find yourself, and then to find the divine. So within the third chakra, this correlates to things like intuition, imagination, visualization, insight, dreams, and vision. It's really the self-reflection. When it's balanced, you have a very strong intuitive connection, very powerful perception, imagination, good memory, able to access and remember dreams. This is that lucid dreaming kids are very connected to lucid dreaming, and we often blow off a lot of what they tell us as imagination or pretend or whatever, and they're remembering dreams or past lives, and then they're kind of taught to forget it or pretend that they're crazy or ignore it. Really need to be able to be open and speak to your children and let them tell you their experiences. Allow them to freely speak without you analyzing what they're telling you. Just listen. Being able to think symbolically and able to visualize. Those are the things that you really get into when you work into meditation. So that's where guided meditations are helpful, because it helps lead you into how to do it. But the real power comes when you just go into meditation and you dive into it on your own. That's where you get in deep. That's where you really open up yourself. It's a powerful process. Powerful, so powerful to where much of society doesn't take the time to do it, or just don't want to, in the hamster wheel of life, and don't take that time. So traumas and abuses, we talked a little bit already about there's just a lot of suppression within the third eye. And it's mainly on a societal level, and parents unknowingly suppressing their children's abilities and suppressing the third eye, and very much from society of providing us such bad foods and medicines and products that just calcify and suppress, close up that third eye. Fluoride being the first, making sure that your water is filtered is another very crucial thing. Very clean toothpaste. Literally don't buy toothpaste from the store. I mean, just none of it. None of it's good. Anything with fluoride, don't do it. That was the first thing that we got rid of years ago when I started shifting to a holistic lifestyle. I mean, ultimately, we don't need toothpaste. A lot of this stuff that we're taught to do, like a lot of these beauty routines we're taught to do and to see as being clean, or it's this presentation to the public. Most of it is actually quite harmful to our bodies and our minds and our potential. Our lotions, our toothpaste, our beauty products, our shampoos and conditioners, and all the hair colors and makeups, and all of that is just so toxic. So toxic. So really try to, I got rid of, okay, I've said before, I make my own salve. I use Boca toothpaste, and I also use just a regular coconut oil with either turmeric. I have a tooth powder, oil pulling. That's all I do for teeth. And then shower, I just have a simple homemade bar soap and a shampoo bar. And that's it. Really simple. Keep it simple. The simple, the better. And I don't really use any of it on my children either. They don't really, I don't even know if I've used shampoo on any of them. Maybe a handful of times in their lives. Definitely fluoride-free toothpaste. Even just water or dry brushing is sufficient. And that's as long as you're eating clean, whole foods. And that's why that's important. The more processed junk that you're eating, then it becomes more necessary for you to brush your teeth, because all of it is just destroying your body. So if you're eating a raw food-based diet, it becomes less necessary to brush your teeth. So just keep all that in mind. So traumas and abuses that suppress this, imbalance your third eye. What you see doesn't go with what you're told. Those are kind of the lies of society. Invalidation of intuition and psychic occurrences, like I said, often happens to children. And then ugly or frightening environment, meaning war zones and violence. And that's oftentimes as far as keeping people in poverty and keeping people in states of war, are all very created environments by the higher powers, the elites, to keep the world divided and suppressed and enslaved. Not only enslaved by those individuals, but enslaved within our own selves. You become a slave to your own environment and your own suppressed mind, suppressed higher self. So it's a powerful thing when we can really break through all of that indoctrination and propaganda and lies, and it's all very overwhelming as you begin to question your reality and acknowledge that much of what you've learned through school, TV, parenting, society, peers, so much of it is just lies and bullshit. I mean, true reality is so misunderstood. I mean, we really have a fraction of understanding of what's really going on in the quantum. And as I dive into quantum physics, and hopefully I might lean more into that as we get into season 2 of this, just the metaphysical side and the quantum physics of reality, and just the simple concept of our planets really just makes you question. And I know in my research, like NASA was created after World War II by Project Paperclip, where we literally brought old, I don't know if I would call them Nazis. They were technically Nazis, I think, German scientists and brought them here because of the amount of technology that they had, reverse engineered, and were actually ahead of us. So we brought over, Werner von Braun is one of them, and created NASA. That's how it started. Was because we were technically behind as far as like aircrafts and other technologies. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole you can go down. So I encourage you to look into that Operation Paperclip. It's very interesting. And then what's in Antarctica? There's a lot going on in Antarctica. And I feel that we might even find out more about it right now. You know, right now we're in March 3rd, 2021, and we're really in the midst of a lot of disclosure. And a lot of it is coming. There is a lot of happening, but so many people are, again, so distracted by the medial things of a vaccine or masks and being able to get back to work, that they're not even looking beyond anything that's on the news. Because once again, the news in itself is just a polarizing, divisive propaganda. The best thing you can do for your third eye, your sixth chakra here, and balancing it, is to turn off the TV. Heck, get rid of your TV altogether if you can. And internet too. I mean, that's the first way to really free out your frequency. All of those electronic stuff, it all affects our frequency very prevalently. And remember, everything is energy and frequency. The way we raise our vibration and frequency is physically and within our consciousness. How we feed our body and mind and soul. Okay. So some healing practices for the third eye. Oh, physical manifestations of a closed third eye are pretty straightforward, of headaches and vision problems. So, you know, as I've said before, it correlates within that same area. So usually those are the signs that you're closed up. So healing practices for opening and expanding that third eye, creating visual art. Again, this is a creative center. Visual stimulation, meditation, psychotherapy like coloring and drawing, and art therapy, working with your memory. So like past life regression work is really interesting. I've done a little bit of that as well. Very powerful work. Guided visualizations, hypnosis, dream work, getting into things like lucid dreaming, connecting image with feeling. So this is very much the astral work, getting into past lives and past life experiences, and art and the creativity. This is a really powerful chakra to balance and awaken. Let's see if I have anything within this chapter I wanted to touch on quickly. Otherwise, we can get right into the meditation. I actually like to find my quote here. Well, the eyes are the gateways to the soul. That's a powerful one. The eyes, meaning all of your eyes, all three of them. Psychologically, the archetype as an image of instinct is a spiritual goal toward which the whole nature of man survives. And we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. That's the power of illusion. So we often see things based on our own bias and experiences and perceptions. We don't necessarily see them as they are. So that's where the observation effect comes in. Simply our observation of it will alter it to how we may have a bias toward how to observe it. That's where science can really be flawed, is the individuals doing experiments simply having an intention of not even intentionally doing it, but having some sort of forethought or intention of how it's going to turn out, can alter its reality and the conclusion. So that in itself makes you question absolutely everything. And a psychic I was talking to had said something that I think it was Lori Ladd who said it. All of our thoughts and experiences are filtered through our ego. So no matter where information comes from, whether that be like a direct channel to a being, an alien, a past ancestor, your higher self, any information is filtered through the ego of the individual sharing the information. So there's literally no information on this planet that is unbiased. None. Everything you read, feel, hear, observe has been filtered by ego, whether that be someone else's or your own. That's why once you can trust your own intuition and your own higher self and higher consciousness, that's where you really find the most power, because you realize that everything you need to know, all wisdom and knowledge that you need to know, can be accessed through yourself, through your own intuition and your own connection to the divine. That's where the power lies. And with that, let's get into our meditation. Let's start the music here. Find a comfortable space, nice and quiet. Close your eyes and begin breathing in and out your nose. Nice, long, even breaths. Take a deep breath in your nose. Hold it at the top. And exhale. Again, let's do it in the nose. Hold it at the top. And exhale out your mouth. Let's do a couple of these. Inhale and feeling your belly expand. Hold at the top. And exhale out your mouth. Let it all go. 2 more times, breathing in your nose. Hold. And exhale out your mouth. Last time, deep breath in. Hold. And exhale out your mouth. Now come back to a normal breath, unaltered. Just let it be as it is. In and out your nose. Now for the third eye, let's make sure we bring our gaze as our eyes are closed. Shift your gaze up toward your forehead. Now often, especially if your third eye is closed, it almost starts to bother your eyes. You kind of feel a little bit of ache in your head or your forehead or your eyes. And that just lets you know that there is some awakening and expanding to tap into here. So every time you want to work into the third eye, close your eyes and just shift your gaze upward toward the center of your forehead. And now visualize a beautiful indigo light. Indigo spinning wheel of light that goes straight through your forehead from front to back. Breathe deep into that light, into that color, and feel as it expands. Feel it opening your third eye. You can even imagine a little door just on the inside of your forehead. And as you feel that indigo light shining through, let it break that door open. Breathe into it. I want you to repeat these 3 affirmations in your head. I see all things in clarity. I am open to the wisdom within, and I can manifest my vision. Now I want you to repeat those out loud. I see all things in clarity. I am open to the wisdom within, and I can manifest my vision. Breathe those in. Breathe the intention into them and breathe it into your soul to manifest. You can stay here as long as you like. Continue to focus in on that color on your third eye. Thank you for joining me today. Love and gratitude. Namaste.